On today's episode, we are going to recap John's adventures at the Outdoor Living Mastery, or OLM.
I'm John.
I'm Amanda, and we're the Hardscape Nerds. And why Hardscapes?
Because we scape so hard.
This is the time that I want to let you realize that this is probably a party that you don't want to attend, but you're locked in.
All right, the Outdoor Living Mastery, which was held in Morgantown, Pennsylvania this year.
Yes. Yeah, it's pretty close to where it was held last year. Last year was, I believe, New Holland. It was, 20 minutes away. Mm-hmm. It was nicer for me because it was like right off the turnpike and 4 minutes from the turnpike, I think. The hotel was right there. That was nice.
Convenient.
It was.
So last year, John went as an attendee, and this year, John had an upgrade to
assistant to the instructor.
If Dwight Schrute was at OLM, John would have been him.
Yeah, I don't know if I didn't help upgrade it, but I don't know. It was an upgrade for me, not for everybody else.
As long as it didn't bring them down.
No, not too bad.
So, with this location, were you guys? You were indoors mostly, right? There was some stuff outside.
Yeah, the indoors. It was a pretty large space. It was mostly indoors, and the weather did get kind of nasty, and that happened to be when we started a little bit of the outdoor stuff. So that was at times rough when it was raining sideways, and but thankfully it wasn't a whole lot, and it came towards the end of the day, and then I think either the next day or whatever, it got pretty cold. I managed to find my way inside and stay inside. I was hiding from the outdoor crew at that point. Yeah, they needed work inside, so I was just doing whatever. Yeah.
So the scope of work, they had a design in advance, and some of it looked like the same kind of build as last year in terms of an outdoor kitchen and obviously a lot of pavers. And what would have been different this year or included that wasn't last year?
I don't know exactly. I think last year, I don't know. I did not stay to the very, very end. So I didn't see the actual unveiling, which I kind of regret. Came home to see you guys, so that was awesome. But I kind of feel like I missed out seeing that end, working so hard to do all that, and then just kind of leaving.
We appreciated having you home.
Yeah, it was it was a very long week. To anybody who's ever thinking about attending for next year, it's pretty intense. You're going pretty hard for basically 7 a.m. We got there a little bit earlier, but it's 7 a.m. till usually like 8 or 9 at night. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just working pretty solid through. I mean, there's breaks for meals. They feed you incredibly well. Yeah, it's enjoyable going there to eat.
I was jealous that you guys went to Shady Maple because that's a smorgasbord, literally.
Yeah, it's huge. That was amazing. We went there last year as a family or with the group last year, and I couldn't believe how big that place was. It was, I feel like it was a couple city blocks long. trying to find a table. The one guy said, man, they've been feeding us so good that I feel like the Shady Maple was like, he almost didn't get to enjoy it because we've been eating so good the whole week. So yeah, it was a odd. I kind of understood because it was. I didn't eat as much as I was planning on. I was thinking I'd eat a whole bunch of food, but it didn't shake out that way because I was pretty full from the rest of the week.
Yeah, they don't do just like a typical, like if you had something catered and you might have, I don't know, chicken and potatoes or something. It's a little more like themed.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. What about there were the attendees and then the organizers and guest speakers that they had show up, come.
Yeah, there was a pretty big list. I know Bill Gardocki, I spoke with him and his son Tom Gardocki quite a bit the day that they were there. I'm trying to think of the other. I believe Jack Justice. I'm not sure the exact pronunciation of the name. Ryan King, Joshua Gillow. He was speaking again, and I know I'm missing some. I know Phil and Caleb Baylor. They did a couple things. I apologize who I'm forgetting, but I actually didn't get to hear any of them because we were just outside trying to stay on schedule. So it was on our end, on the helping end. I mean, last year I was there as an attendee, so I got the entire experience. This year was basically just head down and work, and it was intense. There wasn't, man, we didn't stop moving, I feel like, hardly at all for the entire week. So that was a lot of fun. I like moving like that.
I mean, from the schedule, I remember seeing in advance, it was get there early, set up for the different groups to move through the stations, I guess, for lack of a better word, or different pieces of the project. And then whatever didn't get finished, clean up on the back end, so to speak. Is that kind of how it played out?
For the most part, yeah, it's kind of people cycled through. I floated around and just I offered help to everybody as soon as I felt like I was kind of settled in or whatever. Like they didn't need me. I just went on to the next group. And then we got to a point where everyone was spaced out in different areas, and I accidentally had to fill in for Phil Baylor. So that was interesting because I said, there's some guys standing around me saying that they have paver laying as a class. He said, yeah, I'm supposed to teach it. And then he just said, I need you to do it. I said, okay. No preparation. I mean, we know how to lay pavers, so but it was a lot of fun. The crew that I had for that particular class, they knocked it out of the park. We got a lot done for that because it's hands-on, so we're laying stuff. And I mean, a lot of these guys are, I feel like, just as experienced with the all-arounder, where everything was like mechanical, a whole lot of mechanical laying because those slabs were huge. And these younger guys are just flying, throwing them down real quick. So that was nice. I said, man, you guys really saved me on this one. So yeah, it was a lot of fun working as a team with just everybody.
Yeah.
It was an incredible time.
Yeah, didn't hear a whole lot from you because I know you were busy pretty much sun up to sundown.
Yeah.
And then some.
Yeah, like I said, we were there 6 a.m. till, I mean, some nights 9 o'clock.
Why don't you tell us about cornhole?
Oh, cornhole. That was, it was pretty rough. Basically, they needed somebody else to fill in a team, and I said, okay. And they said, you know what, we need one more. I said, so you need me to find a teammate? And they said, yeah. And I felt bad for whoever I asked because I'm not very good. I've not played very much or at all, actually. And so I'm walking around after getting shot down a couple times, come across Jeremy Martin, and he said, John, I would just drag you down. And I said, that's impossible because I'm terrible. And we got to talking and figure out we had combined about 1.5 games of cornhole together. So yeah, we were playing I think it was Kent and Mitch Baylor, and I think they were cheating because we were using paved hole boards and they destroyed us so bad that it was unbelievable. So I feel like we could have gotten lucky and gotten a few points, but so I believe that they were cheating. I'm sticking with that.
I don't know. Maybe we just need to practice. We do have a set of cornhole boards untouched in our basement for some time that we should probably dust off and get out there and practice this summer.
Yeah, we definitely, I definitely need to practice. I'll have to try and meet up with Jeremy, and the two of us we're not losing next year. I'll tell you that.
Challenge them to a rematch. Oh goodness.
Yeah. So there was some frustrations that with like when we were working in the field, it seemed like we had a little bit lack of tools at times, like hand tools, because it wasn't necessarily a lack. It was just that everyone just kept stealing something, to borrow for their section. So it was intense that way, where did I set that thing? And then it probably moved 6 times since then. So that was a little bit nerve-wracking, where I feel like I was just walking around for an hour a day just locating tools. But that was kind of like the only frustrating part about it. It really, I don't know. It was an incredible experience to just everything.
For an event of that scale and all the planning and everything that went into it, I mean, Caleb's spreadsheet was pretty impressive with the whole schedule. Yeah,
he might have framed it. And it probably cost $2,000 to frame that thing. It was very, very long. Yeah, it was pretty neat seeing everything come together. Seeing it from the opposite end. Last time I was just, like I said, there as a student, and this time getting to be on the other end and seeing how much work actually goes into it is very impressive. Yeah, it was nice meeting some of the attendees and just hearing their stories, and just one of the coolest stories was when we were at Shady Maple, one of the guys, he said, he was sitting next to me and another gentleman. He said, no disrespect to you guys, but I'm going to go sit with my team. So he was sitting with us, and then he got up and left. I'm like, that's perfect. That's what we want.
Yeah.
Is like, so he wanted to hang out with his team. So hopefully they all stick together and correspond. And
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was set up like that you really were. I remember last year you talking about you guys did competitions like with the pizza making, that you were on a team. I didn't realize it was kind of ongoing. Like you have that group and you stick with them.
Oh yeah, that's how you go through the learning process, and that's the one thing. Based upon feedback from last year, our group was, I feel like there was eight or 10 people, and this year they made the groups so much smaller. It was just a handful of people. They're about half the size, if that, and it was nice. They had more teams but less, so everybody got to
get more hands on with it.
That's
cool.
That was really nice. It was a long week. At the end of it for me, it got really emotional. Like I didn't even want to leave. It was, I know I went up to say goodbyes to everybody, and I talked to Malin, and I had to circle back because I was ready to just start crying. Like, it was very bizarre. I've never had that experience like that with just basically friends. I feel like a lot of these guys have become friends, and just from attending various events in recent time, and it was very emotional. It was a really tough decision to leave a little bit early, but I was afraid of the weather coming in and wanted to make it home to see my babies. But I said it was not like, I said I was going to see my family, but it made it a little bit tougher because I almost felt like I was leaving a family, leaving my family. So it's, some family, it's okay to leave, and oh my goodness, I made it out of there. But this time was a little bit harder. It was like family you actually want to see. So yeah, that was surprising. I did not expect that, to just the emotional part of that.
All right. I have 2 more quick questions or talking points, if you will. 1, what is or was your biggest takeaway from this year?
I don't know about takeaway was that I can, for me personally, that I can like lead a group, and I know that I've done it with, I've been running a business for 24 years now where I've led, but this was different. This was leading people at times where, like, even these younger guys, they know as much as me. Like, so I'm not used to working on the same level. And that was amazing to be able to do that. And not the whole time, obviously, but a couple segments where I got to do that. That was really cool.
And what would you say for somebody who is thinking about attending next year?
I didn't read the feedback sheets, but as far as everybody I talked to, they all enjoyed it. The attendees, I enjoyed it so much that I begged them to let me come back. I was trying to stay in touch, and I really wanted to be a part of what they're doing, and I can't explain it exactly. It's hands-on, but it's also they work on, like I said, I didn't get in the room with them with the speakers and stuff, but I know Joshua in particular, Joshua Gillow, he works on some deeper level stuff as far as just emotional, and so that's what I got out of the first year, and I assume that's what happened there. But it's not just a bunch of meathead contractors getting together, and I can't explain it very well, but it's people who actually care about people. So it's not for everybody. It's people who don't care and say, that's good enough, and the work has to be done, and it has to be done right, and there's a reason for why we're doing all this. And I hope I was short enough in your answer.
Yeah, if you want to know how to do it the right way, and you want to see how a contractor who cares, or contractors who care, operate, it's the place to be.
I agree. Proverbs 14:23, in all labor there is profit, but the talk of the lips tendeth only to penury. Let's stop talking and make something happen. Thank you both for listening. Be sure to share this with your in-laws, your outlaws, that friend who doesn't appreciate personal space. They sure won't bother you anymore.